Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to today's lesson from Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. Again, this is a memoir in verse. And again, a memoir is a memory from the author's life that they write about in first person. And verse means that it's written in stanzas. So it is poetry. Today's lesson is on conventions and grammar. The first thing we're going to talk about today is our figurative language onomatopoeia. We talked about this a few lessons ago, and these are concept vocabulary words from our story, such as squish, humming, and shushes. These are words that imitate the sounds they mean. For example, there's some animal sounds such as woof, moo, and meow that when you say the word, it is the same as the noise you would hear from that word. So you're going to have two worksheets on onomatopoeia. So let's take a look at this first page. You're going to put your name at the top. And then you will get, at the top of most of your worksheets that you do with us, you're going to get some reminders of the skill that you're working on and definitions and examples. So in part A, what you're going to do is you're going to read the sentence and you're going to choose the correct onomatopoeic word in parentheses to complete that sentence. And you can underline or highlight your answer. So for example, number 1, the horse blanked hungrily on the apples. Did the horse chomped hungrily on the apples? Did the horse chirped hungrily on the apples? Or the horse honked hungrily on the apples? And yes, if you chose chomped, you are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight it and actually underline it. So you will finish this section in that way. In part B, you're going to select the correct onomatopoeic word from the list to complete each of these sentences. And our onomatopoeic words are thud, sloshing, croak, whimpering, and screeched. So for number 1, Maria drank so much water before the race that she could hear it blank around in her stomach as she ran. So you got to think what you know about water in your stomach and you're running around. I'm sure you've experienced this before. Does water thud? Does it slosh around? Does it croak? Does it whimper or does it screech? And hopefully you picked slosh. So I am going to, on this line, I'm going to change the color of my ink and I'm going to type the word sloshing around in her stomach as she ran. And then you're going to finish the rest of the sentences in this section just like that. Now for the next page, part A, it's very similar to the part A in the first page. You're just going to select the correct onomatopoeic word to complete each sentence. So you have to know what the words mean in parentheses so that it can help you figure out which one you're going to choose. Let's look at number 1. My dog Molly snarled or sniffed at the air as I cooked dinner. So snarl is like a growl, and sniffed is what they do with their nose when they're trying to smell. So if they're doing it in the air and they're cooking dinner, sniffed would be the correct onomatopoeic word. Again, I'm going to highlight and I'm going to underline. In part B, you're going to match the noun on the left-hand side with the correct onomatopoeic word on the right-hand side. For example, lion. Does a lion crackle, squish, roar, jingle, or hoot? Hopefully you said roar. So what you will do is on the line next to the word lion, you're just going to put the letter of the word you chose that matches that noun. And then in part C on this page, you're just going to write a complete sentence using the onomatopoeic word given. For example, hiss in number 1. You would write, I heard the snake hiss as I walked into the woods. And you'll finish this section in that way. The next convention grammar that we're going to talk about are different types of nouns. So there's 3 types of nouns that we're going to talk about: a common noun, a proper noun, and a possessive noun. Nouns, regardless of which kind they are, names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. A common noun is just that. It's common. It's general. It can name any one of a class of people, places, things, or ideas. Common nouns are not capitalized. For example, desk. Desk is a general term or a general noun referring to something that you sit at. There's all different kinds of desks. So it's general, it's common, we don't capitalize it. Whereas the next one is a proper noun. A proper noun names a specific person, place, thing, or idea. Proper nouns are capitalized. For example, your name is specific. It names you specific, so it is capitalized. McDonald's names a specific type of restaurant, so it would be capitalized. Now, poets sometimes choose not to capitalize proper nouns, and they do this for effect or for style. And Jacqueline Woodson does this in her poem Brooklyn Rain because she does not capitalize the word Brooklyn, even though it is a name of a specific place in New York City. And finally, we have possessive nouns, and these show ownership. Possessive means that you own something. So possessive nouns function as adjectives by modifying a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. Most singular possessive nouns end with an apostrophe and then the letter S. For example, sisters. I have one sister, but when I want to say my sister's toy, I need to add that apostrophe S. Now, plural possessive nouns already end in the letter S, so all we do is add the apostrophe after the letter S. For example, if I have more than one sister, sisters is the plural, but if I want to refer to something they own, such as sisters' toys, then I put the apostrophe after the S. So the chart at this bottom of the page here gives us some examples of these types of nouns right from Brown Girl Dreaming. And the first one is a common noun. And this is from the story Believing, and it's line 14, and it says, and my uncle likes the stories I'm making up. Uncle is a common noun. It just refers to a general person. Stories, again, is a noun also, and it's common, just refers to a general story. The next one is proper noun, and this comes from Uncle Robert, lines 33 to 34. These 3 dots are called ellipsis, and that just means they left part of that sentence out when they were copying it. Robert showing us the steps he learned at the Far Rockaway parties. Robert is a name, a specific name of an individual, so it needs to be capitalized. Just as Far Rockaway is the name of some place, so both words would need to be capitalized. And then finally, we have possessive nouns. This is from Brooklyn Rain, lines 23 to 24. Again, these ellipses mean that they left off part of the sentence or line in the stanza of the poem. Stories in my head. Take me back there. Set me down in Daddy's garden. So this apostrophe S on Daddy is telling me this is his garden. He owns this garden. So you're going to have a couple worksheets to complete for this section. And the first one that you're going to work on, again, put your name at the top, and then you get the definitions and examples of each of the types of nouns. So here you have 5 sentences that you need to work on. And the directions are for each of the lines from Brown Girl Dreaming, identify the nouns. Then label each noun as a common, proper, or possessive. And here's a big note. See how it's bold and dark print? It wants you to pay attention to it because there may be more than one kind of noun per line. So if you're not sure again what a common, a proper, or a possessive noun are, you can go to the top of the page to get the examples and definitions. So let's look at number 1. All kinds of people are doing all kinds of things. I'm going to use my highlighter at the moment. And people is a noun. Things is also a noun. So underneath I'm going to change my ink color. People, that's a common noun, right? It doesn't name anything specific. Things is also a common noun. It doesn't name anything specific. The next page that you're going to work on has 2 pages. So again, at the top of the first page, they give you the definitions of the nouns and examples of each of them. So in part A, you're going to list the noun or nouns. Pay attention to that because there could be more than one noun in a sentence. Then identify each noun as common, proper, or possessive. Very similar to what you did on the first page. So if we look at number 1, Keisha writes beautifully. Keisha is the noun in this sentence. I am going to highlight it. And then on the line after, I'm going to write Keisha, and Keisha names a specific person. So this is a proper noun. And you will finish the other 4 in the same way. Now remember, there could be more than one. Part B on this first page, you're going to underline the noun or nouns in each of the following sentence. And the number that's in parentheses should equal the number of nouns that you find. So let's look at number 1. Jill and Brian don't look like siblings. This parentheses is telling me there's 3 nouns in this sentence. You don't need to tell us if they're common, proper, or possessive. You just need to find the nouns. So we have Jill as a noun. We have Brian as a noun. And we have siblings as a noun. So there are your 3 nouns. So just pay attention to the number in parentheses that tells you how many nouns you're looking for. On the second page in part A, you're going to replace the underlined pronoun or word with the type of noun that's indicated in parentheses. So in number 1, I convinced her to come to the park with me. Her is the underlined word. It refers to a girl. It wants you to make it a proper noun. So you just need to give a girl's name. So I'm going to give it the name Susan. In part B, you're going to count the number of nouns in each sentence and write that number on the line. So in number 1, Dad asked Sam to help Jack and Mohammed clean the basement. Well, basement is a noun. Mohammed is a noun. Jack is a noun. Sam is a noun. And Dad is a noun. So that gives us 5 nouns, and we're going to write that on the line.